Hey guys, so for this one we're just going to go through a few of my war fights and talk about my thought process behind them. Magneto is a very common pick on these Section 2 Lane 9 fights over here because you basically have to bait heavies or intercept, and because of his unstoppable when he's charging his heavy, it can be quite difficult to find an opening. But as you're seeing here, right at the beginning, he throws his heavy. And if you wait long enough, kind of like with Sasquatch, there is a tiny window where you can respond safely. And you see just there when I got hit that I missed that window. But on these others, I'm hitting it. And the thing is that if you're blocking enough hits from Magneto and you get your smolders up, you're doing enough damage and he doesn't really hit hard enough so that you can afford to take that risk and nuke him down in plenty of time. Like, look at just how low he is here. That one, I didn't really feel it, so I didn't go back in. The one after that, I think I knew that that was going to be slightly too early, but I also saw how low his health was and figured I was fine. I wasn't in any danger of iteming out on this. Sasquatch is kind of similar, because, when he goes into Wrath of Tanarak on in both his specials and his heavies, he gets that passive unstoppable. But like with Magneto, he just keeps feeding Torch those smolders, and the damage just keeps going up and up, so it really doesn't matter. Um, yeah, I mean, it's pretty basic at the start. Normally, his heavy is not a problem. They're basically banking on the idea that you won't kill him before Wrath of Tanarak goes off, and therefore that you're going to have a problem. And if you're not careful, that's extremely possible. I actually do like to bait his L2 when possible, because although I have the L1 evade down, if you get clipped by it, you can easily get stunned and bad things can happen. In general, I tend to prefer non-projectile specials just because they feel a little bit more secure. So at this point, he's up to six of his, you know what, I don't remember what they're called, but six of his charges to go into his Wrath of Tanarak, and so I'm starting to expect it. I'm starting to bait because I know that I don't want him to have a bunch of power when I get backed up. Now we're up to 9, we're up to 10, and I'm going, oh, great, this is going to be one of those long ones. Up to 11. At this point, we're just not doing much. I know I'm going to have to build spacing, and that's part of the reason that I held on to my special. I'd like to have a special to burn when he gets you back in the corner. But you see right there, after his heavy, there's a window where you can safely land, same as with Magneto. Here, there we watch it again. As long as you go in late enough, there's no problem. And then he's down. This was actually an extremely close war at this point. I think we had died twice overall, although not yet in my battle group, and the other guys had died 3 times. So technically we were in the lead, but if I died, then we would be at a tie. So I was not going to let that happen. Modok is pretty common here. I'm sure a lot of people have seen Mole Man take him as well. You probably do gain more power that way, but I'm just extremely comfortable with Killmonger, and I have a plan for this. Right from the start, I'm just going to keep hitting into his block. I know it's going to trigger the auto block. I know I'm doing next to no damage. It does not matter. The only thing I'm doing is pushing him to his L1 so I can counter it. And right there, it's overstating it to say the fight is over, but as soon as that's done, I'm in a rhythm that I'm comfortable with for the entire rest of the fight. It doesn't even matter if I get off any specials. It doesn't matter how much bleed damage I do. I can just wear him down. I mean, look at this. He's already a quarter down, and it's only been like 10, 20 seconds since he threw his first special. If the last hit of that special crits, it can trigger protection, but because Counterpunch basically gives you free intercepts, see, watch here, I hit there to make sure I maintain the True Strike, and then use Counterpunch to get the intercept, the protection is gone. There's no risk. unless you get hit like that. But honestly, that happens from time to time. It shouldn't. I should play better than that. But that happens to me from time to time, and it's part of why I like Killmonger so much, because he has that high natural armor rating and he has that built-in crit resistance, and it's just really, really difficult to die with him, honestly. If you play it all well, you can afford a mistake. I mean, that's barely even a health potion's worth of damage I took. Okay, so here we cut because I went and did some duels to work on reverse reparry, because my plan here was to push him to his special 2 because Torch can't miss over 10 temperature. My plan was to rely on the White Mag's synergy, or the White Mag's pre-fight, so that I could safely parry him, but the idea was to block, have him charge me, and then try and parry the second hit. That's what I mean by reverse reparry, and that's a very useful tactic when you need your opponent to not throw certain specials. Um, Most people who've done Abyss end up using it for certain fights like Yellow Jacket or Red Skull. So that was my plan, but you see immediately he throws that L1, I get backed up. I know that I can hit him once and not take too much reflected damage, not that big a deal. But now I'm going to try and push him to his L2. I do that to build some temperature, but you'll notice the problem if you're paying attention, which is that my temperature starts dropping immediately, and that's because I have no smolders. And so that's going to make this next part where I'm trying to bait out his L2 problematic, because my temperature is just going to drop like a rock, and now I can miss. If I were to take this fight again, which I very well may, I think what I'd probably do is I'd intentionally bait out the first L1 and I would block the beams to build those smolders so that when I then push to the L2, I would be confident in my ability to hold on to high temperature and have that right there where I flat out miss on a heavy not happen. I don't think he would have killed me if he had full comboed me, but you just do not want to put yourself in that position. Anyway, I hope this was informative for anyone who has trouble with either with Torch or with difficult Mysterios. And I will see you guys next time.